Good evening or good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. We are back for another night of ESL Challenger South America for Season 48. It's actually my first time doing ESL Challenger outside of Europe, so very excited for it, and I'm in the very safe hands of Paladin. How are you doing today, my sir?
Yeah, awesome to be here. We've got a couple of good games for you going on around the scene, but we'll only be broadcasting one. But yeah, excited to take you through this little journey in the other side of the pond for a little while.
Yeah, well, before we get started and look at the teams, we're going to actually take a look at ESCA registration. So as you know, ESCA, it's a season 48 of ESL Challenger, but if you want to do like the ESCA League, so like open inters, whatever you want to do, season 51, the registration is open. And there's also this kind of like LFT thing you can do where if you don't have a team, you can actually find other teammates to play with, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome feature to have. And I mean, if you ever want to, get to this position where you're playing ECL on a regular basis, there's a long road to get there, and that's where you can start, right? Just getting to play through open. And I mean, we've got so many different players that have come up through this system, and why not try to be that next person or team, right? So yeah, definitely go and sign up for it.
Well, with that in mind, we can now actually get to the game and the standings. So let's take a look at the bracket, because we're actually getting into maybe near the end of the group stage. And what's really impressive is that, like, I'm looking at some like Pain at 10-0, and sure, they've got some quite hard games ahead of them, but they are soaring above everybody else right now.
Yeah, I mean, this whole standings does not necessarily feel real in a lot of ways. Audic and Crew are in the top end of the bracket and have a chance to kind of qualify to the upper bracket, which would be insane to go over the likes of a team like Imperial and maybe even a team like Bestia. On the other end, Sharks are also going through like a severe rebuild, and that's not really worked out for them, 3-7. So definitely a huge shakeup in terms of the standings. This isn't how I would necessarily like power rank all 16 teams, but that's what it is. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the regular season, a lot of these teams that are on the lower end of the qualification section is that they're all going to be pretty worried, because I mean, this bracket is going to be stacked and you want to have every extra life possible. And I'm sure MIBR are also thinking in those terms as well when we jump into today's matchup between them and Hype. So although it's a simpler game for them, I do think that they're going to have to take this one very seriously before things kind of get out of hand.
Yeah, and look, like Hype, sure, they're maybe not the best team in this bracket. I think it's fair to, if you are going to power rank them, probably maybe be in the like lower third or whatever. But best of ones, kind of anything can happen. And MIBR, like, if we look at their record in this season, they've lost against teams like Dusty Roots, which is quite a big surprise. And Hype would be, if I'm imagining, trying to emulate that.
Yeah, I mean, they would definitely like to nab at least a map off at the very least. Yeah. If you can avoid relegation or at least stay within the season, it would be fantastic for some of these players to just keep coming back to ECL on a regular basis. But we'll throw up the rosters and kind of walk you through both of these squads. MIBR, and love, they had a fantastic run at Cologne. not necessarily the deepest run from them, but decent enough to at least show that they've got something to give with the win over Heroic. But yeah, I think now they've changed IGLs as well. They've gone from exit to drop being the caller, and I think this is a perfect test for them to kind of develop him as an IGL, him as a caller, and see if he can kind of fit around in this kind of a section. And then on the other end of the equation, you've got Hype, which you might not necessarily know many of the players, but Leo and History definitely should be the ones that jump out to you if you are a seasoned South American fan. Of course, Leo's been around for a while, and History is quite an expensive opera as well, who's really made headlines across the scene, trying to get purchased out by various different teams. But he settled in on Hype, and I hope that he can put on a clinic for us today to give us a little bit of fireworks to go up against MIBR.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on the other third, or like the other three of like, look, if you're not a South American Counter-Strike fan, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know who they were. But I think like History and Leo in their own right, especially Leo, like he's been around the block. He's played a good few couple lands. Like History was a part of a very powerful Fluxo squad, which if I remember after the Blast Major got dismantled and just, you know, there's the constant South American shuffles. And I think he maybe came out on maybe the lesser end of that, but I think he's someone who, especially within that Fluxo roster, was someone that really impressed me. And I think up against Safe, that's going to be a very good test of maybe for me where he still stands.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, we can jump into the veto as well now that we're here, and I believe this is the more of the Hype leaning pick here. Or sorry, who am I kidding? Actually, no, it is. Yeah, I have played this one the most often, and you know, I'm fine with it. But the reason why I was indecisive is because I think this is one of MIBR's best maps in the entire pool. I've seen them do some ridiculous things on this map. Insani is an absolute beast, and Safe is also a very safe pair of hands, no pun intended, across the CT side as well. But yeah, I think MIBR should be very happy with this. I'll basically get a look on to the next end of the veto. But yeah, for the most part right now, MIBR is in a really good spot, and obviously for that reason, I'll be going with them. They've just got the deeper map pool, deeper individuals. They've got the more experience. I couldn't really ask for more from them.
Yeah, I'm actually completely the same. I think MIBR. So I remember at the end of last season, I can't remember. I think it was like CCT Global Finals. I was kind of making a narrative of like, look, you've kind of got 3 or so teams rivaling for the best in Brazil or South America. You have like Pain and MIBR, I think, were the 2 spearheading that. But when I've been looking at MIBR results, like very immediately, you know, kind of the Cologne, the stuff coming out of player break, like not qualifying for events, there is a little part of me where I'm like, what's gone maybe a little bit wrong? You know, they were going on an absolute tear both regionally and internationally, and then now you have them being destroyed at the Esports World Cup, doing really badly, I think. Well, especially Esports World Cup, and then I Am Clone, I don't think doing very well, not making it very far in regional qualifiers. That's the only thing I have right now where I'm like, what's gone wrong for MIBR in the last like 2 months?
Yeah, they definitely slumped in a lot of situations, and I think the issue for them has always been when they have these international experiences, all the momentum that they build up domestically just kind of sloughs away, and they look like a shadow of their former selves. And this happened at the RMRs on a regular basis. It's happened at nearly every single land that they've been at. I mean, they finally had a couple of good runs with like the Perry Please and whatnot. Those tournaments they were going pretty deep at. But beyond that, it's been a real struggle for them, to be completely honest with you. And I think this MIBR squad kind of looks at themselves and they say, we've still got a really exciting 5-man unit. We've still got players like Insani who have just been absolutely unreal. But they don't want to give up this 5-man unit just yet, so they're going to make a calling change. And you know what? I don't think it's the worst thing to do. I mean, Exit is a very capable rifler in his own right, and I think Drop is fine, especially if you're playing like extremity positions. It shouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So we'll see if it works long term. Of course, they're making a very tough decision with the kind of position that they're at right now, where the major cycle's right around the corner, and we'll see if it comes back to bite them. But yeah, for the most part, it'll be interesting to see if they can pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Kadia player to watch though. Insani is definitely that player. We had a lot of different options here on the table today, and I think Insani feels like the most obvious one. He's just so explosive, man.
Yeah, like I think he's the one guy where if you maybe don't watch loads of, kind of bringing on the same theme, if you don't watch loads of this region of Counter-Strike, you gotta know Insani. I think he turned, did he turn 19 or 20 when he was at Melbourne or whatever it was? Like he's a young guy, and like, you know, he has his birthday event, he gets the MVP at an international event, they qualify for Pro League with that, he puts up these ridiculous numbers, and I think he's definitely one for the future, and you'd be hard to find someone that would disagree with a sentiment like that.
Yeah, you don't have a guy that opens up rounds as well as he does, and on a consistent basis as well. I mean, just genuinely a superstar in the making. Excited to see his development, of course, but we're going to have to take a short break as we hit that 6 o'clock mark, and we'll see if we have the matchup ready for you soon enough. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. A little bit of an extended break, but we're here for Ancient, map number 1 in this best of 1 series between MIBR and Hype Esports. I'm joined with the lovely Freddy here to get started on this series. Let's get it underway. T-side start for MIBR.
It's a pretty good map for MIBR. I think this should be a pretty, like, regardless of the map, this should be a pretty clean affair for them. I'm almost looking at, like, how clean do they make it? Well, this pistol round starts off with contact being taken over on Shelf, History, and Insani. No one takes any much damage. They go their separate ways. And MIBR leaning towards this B bomb site. Hype still trying to figure out where they want to place themselves.
Yeah, bit odd. I mean, History doesn't commit to that sort of aggression. They're going to throw this little bit of a set piece on this B bomb site. A Molotov as well as a flashbang still left here. And they'll try to play this post plan in the 5v5.
Straight through the smoke. And also a dink onto Leo. There is a kit on the aforementioned Leo. And History finally does strike from Shelf. It took him a while, but now joined up with a teammate. They're going to try and make their way through Cave. Insani, he's going to have other ideas though. He doesn't want them coming anywhere close to this bomb site. This is looking like a really weird pistol round. I feel like Hype have just never had a clear direction. They've never, like, you know, the they see like 4 people towards lane, and what, they keep 2 middle, 1 A, and have 2 people outside of B. I don't know. That was a really weird CT side pistol for me.
Yeah, and even when they're trying to retake, funnily enough, you don't really even have the timings on the same pulse. So you've got one player swinging out into cave, and then the other person not backing them up to try and trade. He falls back all the way back to A, and the players that are coming up long have only showed face after the flank had appeared. It was completely disassembled, and of course MIBR, if you give them bad spacing, they are going to punish. I mean, they do have a loaded squad as far as firepower is concerned, so you've really got to keep your wits about yourself if you're hype and try to punish when you can.
It's kind of one of their main attributes, right? Just the fact that they can destroy anyone. And that pistol round, if hype had maybe committed to shelf, like I've seen so many times where if a team is heavy lane and they're like 3 people swing from shelf as a CT side, it's very hard to counter that. Like that can be a very brutal counter play as a CT side, but you know, I don't know. Anyways, enough of the pistol round. We had 2 players save, armor on each, a kit on one of them. They'll both purchase 5.7s, but apart from that, it's going to be a full eco. They actually do have the right stack. There are 4 players towards the B bomb site, and as soon as I say that, there's now none of them.
Eradicated. Hype will find just 1 kill. A couple of low HP bars here for Leo, but there's no way he's going to know that. MIBR get that second round pretty much uncontested. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, you spoke about, you know, how clean of a win this is going to be for MIBR. I think that's definitely one of the narratives. Another one for me is just how clean are these T sides now that drop is calling? And is this going to be a permanent thing? When do you kind of realize that maybe it's not the right decision and you try to bring in a caller, or, you know, you try to make a personnel change? There's a lot of options that MIBR can go through. And when you're making a radical decision like taking exit off the calling, you're now in a very interesting spot. It feels like this lineup is really under scrutiny. And I don't really know if we're going to have the same 5-man unit post Shanghai.
I think also there's like on this T side, kind of taking your point, it's like if this is difficult, that's really worrying. Like, to put it very bluntly, like that's a worry, especially against hype. I think you were telling me that drop came as an IGL for Cologne, since Cologne. So to be fair to him, that is very fresh. Like, you know, that is very new. There's a little bit of a benefit of doubt, but this is great proving grounds to kind of cement yourself. But for now, hype taking heavy mid control. There will be slight contention. Insani, flash through the smoke, ineffective. How does he get that first frag? The flash does not affect either of the hype players, and then there's this reaction towards the B bomb side. Once again, how have they got those kills? This is not a round where I'm going to sit there and go, well done MIBR, you know, that's a really good play. There should be like a 5v2 for hype right now.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily the most individually lovely round from hype. I mean, I kind of see the idea from MIBR there, is they want to kind of feign some mid presence, and once they see 2 players, they immediately pounce on that B bomb site. But even still, even if Insani doesn't get 1 kill, they should be eradicated on that B bomb site. And still, Leo, I think, was assuming that he'd already gotten the first kill onto Breno and tried to switch things up to try and transfer, but it doesn't work out. History, Malby, they're going to try to hold on to these guns. I think they should be allowed to, nobody else facing. And still, MIBR will get themselves a 3rd round. Another one of those situations where it's like, you have an opportunity, you got to seize it when it's given to you.
It's very... I hate having a color as like they miss their shots, but that kind of almost is. Like, they had the perfect setup, apart from maybe not having 3 players there. I think the 3rd mid player rotated A. But apart from that, like, I don't know, really quite rough for hype. That isn't a great foreshadowing for the future. But MIBR changing up their default now. Playing more towards mid and A. There's 2 saved rifles. There's an MP9 and a 5.7 accompanying. Insani jumps above the smoke, spots Malady, and will execute him. A really nice opening kill. And with hype all congregated towards B, Bernison can't actually get anything done. He doesn't. I don't know how many players he spots. So MIBR, best reaction would be go towards A, and they are going to do that. But going through mid does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, that Molotov should be enough. There's a spam available from Cave, but it won't connect either way. Exit tosses in that utility on that A site. Bomb should be able to get planted. If I'm Rainy, I'm hedging my bets to see if I can find another gun and then just hold on to it to the following round. Either way, safe. We'll get that C4 planted. And honestly, I mean, it's just very simple CS here from MIBR. They're not trying to overcomplicate things. And I like this. Just lean on your stars, and they will get you over the line.
Yeah, I mean, like, good reaction. I guess they just didn't see as many players. That's why they do have that mid prong. Unfortunate that Burnazin can't get a single frag. Definitely should have got at least one. But in this sort of situation, doesn't matter too much. But Hype, they will be able to save 3 rifles. This is great for economical management. You know, we're in a good position for them. However, you then need to prove something with it. You need to get around the board. They're probably going to have the AWP out this round, so they've got a very early sniper rifle. This has to be the round where they at least throw some contention, because we haven't seen that so far yet.
No, definitely. Something a little bit more coordinated, because right now it doesn't feel like Hype is really a team. I'm going to be completely honest. It's hard to win CT rounds, especially on a map like Agent, when you've got to be coordinated on your rotations, your opening starts as well. And they're going to try for mid control, and they'll get it, but again, firm lane control here for MIBR. They're going for straight B set piece, and history has just been absolutely wrecked.
Okay, at least this time, though, Vinna Beast lives up to his name. Only for 2, though. What? How does Insani make this round tangible? Exit a 1 versus 2, and one issue, look where the bomb is. It's very far away. Molotov will force Rainier out in the open, but that favors the defense. And not the prettiest of rounds. They lost the opening kill, but through individual heroics, Hype make it work.
Yeah, Vinna finally makes something work there in that tucked-in cubby position. I mean, 2 or 3 times different players have played that position and have gotten 1 max in that kind of case. And, you know, you'd like to get a multi when you're playing that close up to the hit. And, you know, even though Insani makes it as close as it is, it's still not the greatest execution onto that B bomb site. So they're going to go back to what's worked for them, and that's the mid presence that they can tend to get. But Malby has just completely destroyed him. He's read that boost is possible, and Breno has fallen here in lane. So a lot of these opening plays from MIBR have not worked, and that means they're pretty dire straits for this next minute and 25 seconds.
I really like the lane aggression. I think MIBR have been playing so far very heavy. It's a really nice reaction for Hype to take away that space, and they actually get a bit lucky. There's just 1 player there. Like, it's so easy for them. Middle as well, like we were commenting on that 1 round where Insani just shouldn't have got an opening kill. And I think this is now Hype actually winning out those battles. But 3 versus 5, this round's far from over. And especially as we're praising the T side so much, these are the type of rounds where they make kind of like the impossible happen. However, walking into the AWP is maybe one of the harder things, especially when he's just smoked them off. And it's going to be the time whistling down. And Sani's just scoped in. I wonder if they heard that.
I mean, you could also just call a straight up save at this point. You don't have the greatest bank balance, and Breno and Safe, they can purchase for themselves. It's no problem. And since there is no entry given or gifted to MIBR, just call the save, and that is exactly what they will do. So Hype get themselves their 2nd round on the board, and MIBR, I mean, so far I am not exactly the most impressed by Drops calling, but of course we've still got, what, half of this first half to really dissect it and see if he can improve. But it's just very simple CS, and if those opening starts, those plan A's do not work out, it's very clear to me that they don't really have a plan B.
I think what makes a great IGL is possibly when you get later on in the half, and it's like, hey, how are you playing this T side once you've got all the information from all those previous rounds at your disposal? How's your reaction to the early rounds and all that jazz? I think that's when I see like a really good IGL. But with MR12, it's made it very hard because it's condensed. You know, it's only 3 rounds, but it does make a big difference. A tactical pause, interestingly used from Hype. You tend to see teams use it more when things are getting negative, but they use it here when things are positive, and it's probably just to talk things over. And I don't think it's the worst time to call one. Just gives them 30 seconds, and they'll go into the next round with everything at their disposal. With MIBR though, they do have 1 player on a Mac 10 and 1 player on a Galil, so not the fullest of buys, but still, like, they're fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I mean, at the very least, they will have a purchase across the board. Breno can still get very aggressive in cave if need be. You can just go charging down the lane, but it seems as though this is not live. I think Hype may have wanted to call a tech, but either way, yeah, this is not a live round. It is what it is, but yeah, I guess we can take stock of the game so far. MIBR get off to a hot start, I think very clearly based off of individual prowess. You had that boost up for Safe, you had a boost up for Insani, and then a couple B rushes. And you can see when it works, it really is just the players that are breaking you through that wall and not necessarily the strategy. But I don't know, I think the jury's still out on whether or not that's something sustainable. We'll see how this half ends, you know?
I think it'll be another restart of the round because I don't think players have the weaponry that they should have. But yeah, I agree. I'd say we wouldn't be 4-2, for instance, if MIBR didn't have the firepower. Like, it's a good 2 rounds where you're like, yep, that was just pure firepower. Which also in itself it adds a conversation of like, do Hype just not have that firepower? History obviously does. I think he's a fantastic Corper, but we've already seen him kind of lose a very easy duel.
Definitely, there's that second match medic. All right, and here we go. Oh, still not paused, unpaused.
Only when Gaben says it can be, it shall.
Truly.
So did you get to watch much South American Counter-Strike? Because I've been through my South American Counter-Strike, but I haven't seen much in the last, like, 6 months, I'd say.
Yeah, I've been around. I mean, I think it's always very synonymous with North American Counter-Strike. I mean, the time zones kind of link up, so it's always, like, in your periphery, and you're kind of taking stock of these players and the shuffles that happen, and sometimes that's enough. Like, I mean, just knowing which player's on which squad, and then the occasional CCT always helps out. You know, that's never something that doesn't. But yeah, I think in general, South America's in a pretty good spot right now. I think I've spoken to Trav about it a lot, and he always mentions that, you know, there's a lot of quantity in SA as far as talents are concerned, but not enough quality squads in South America. And we're trying to see if we can find more of them kind of hidden here in ECL. And I'd hope that we can kind of get away with a new one on the way out. But as far as this round goes, it's a lot slower from MIBR. They smoke out Red Room. They decided to take mid control from both avenues, from Shelf, from, you know, the CT elbow as well. And they've got it pretty much unscathed. This is a lot slower, a lot more like the MIBR that I know and love.
Ooh, that's Insani shooting. And if he hadn't, it probably wouldn't have caused maybe a rotation for a player Red Room. They would have called mid is clear. But for now, Hype, they've actually got great map control. 3 players towards B. I mean, they've got great map control considering what the T-side are doing. They're going to have a 4th player able to rotate towards B. And MIBR, yeah, okay, they are using this utility. For a second, I thought they might not, but they do have an open B bomb site. And they've taken so long where Hype have utilized their utility, like their nades, and it hasn't actually warranted them anything. So the bomb's going to get planted we're in a 5 versus 5 boost plant where neither side really has any util, literally a flash on both, and everyone for Hype is coming from CT. MIBR, they're just going to hold. They're not going to peek into their opposition, and Hyper are hoping, praying that someone does, but as the time whittles down, they're now going to have to start making a move. Beast, first player up. He gets dropped by exit, advantage for MIBR, and look how low the time is. Hype just took so long to initiate this that there's just no time.
What an odd round there from Hype. I mean, you know, if you're going to play B like that, you've got to have at least a little bit of utility to maybe stall out or utilize in the retake, but they didn't use any. I mean, they used all of it in the early round, which is really inadvisable, I'd like to think. I mean, to me, if that happens, you can see that they just have nothing to initiate with. They have that one flash, and they can't even go off of that. They can't smoke off cave. They can't smoke off lane, and they just get screwed by their own misuse of utility. So either to compensate for that, you've got to get a little bit more aggressive, and you've got to have a crossfire established on the site, or you've got to fight for some map control a little bit earlier, because that can never happen. I mean, that's exactly the result of not fighting for the B site. So Hype have a lot of work to do right now. It does feel like they're still also just very disassembled, and MIBR are taking advantage of that.
But, like, I feel like that round wasn't even bad from, like, the middle part of it, right? Like, they had 3 players towards B. They kind of were leaning over towards that part of the map. And then I was very surprised, yeah, like, I mean, it's also, MIBR taking so long to get onto the bomb site, there were no early duels able to be taken because they used, like, 2 nades on both the long and short smoke and saw nothing. Even I was like, oh, MIBR are actually committing off this utility? And I was like, okay, it's 2 players in cave, most likely. But, yeah, just a very odd retake where they're hoping for the other team to make a mistake rather than them actually do something and try succeed. They're just playing very slow and unnecessarily.
Yeah, I think when you're an underdog, you've really got to put the pressure on the overdog to kind of show that, like, you know, we're here to hang. We can definitely try to punish you. We can try to get in your face, and you try to just force the T side to speed up their defaults, and that never happens here. They play very scared. They play far back. They give a lot of space and respect to their opponents. And MIBR say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then we're just going to take that position. We absolutely will. And that's where you get those B executions, and nothing really happens to them on the way in. So Hype are going to have to be a little bit more hungry, a little bit more in your face here for the rest of this half, or else things are very quickly going to spiral out of control.
But for now, they have time to reminisce. They have time to sit back and wonder what's gone wrong, because there's yet again another very lengthy pause. I feel like it's kind of an El Clasico. It is always entertaining trying to break down like 7 rounds of Counter-Strike when you have all these pauses. Like, there's only so much content we have to go off on.
Yeah, especially this early, right? So fair.
Okay.
Oop.
There we go. That's something.
Ferdy, where does Ancient rank in your map pool right now?
I am not very good at playing it. I don't know why. It's just one of those maps, but I really like it. I think it's a really fun map to watch. I feel like it's one of those maps I just understand, you know? I don't know if you get me, but it's like, I just kind of understand Ancient. And I think it'd be top 2 for me. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I definitely was one of those like purists that were like, what is this map doing in the pool at first? And then I've really grown to like this map. It's improved a lot. T-sides are much more exciting, and you've got a lot more variety to it. So
let's see what...
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see what MIBR want to do in this round. They want to go just charging up the B lane. Breno wants to take an early engagement, and of course Vina's there for the aggression to punish, but drop with the response.
honestly feels like that was a counterplay to the fact that Beast has played so often in that cubby. You know, smoke, it was a lurk smoke, which it was the first time they've used that. So that's a little bit of a giveaway. Like, try isolate that player, but that doesn't happen. But the issue is then Rainy peeking heaven. I feel like it's a very consistent misplay from mid players to just unnecessarily peak heaven, shelf, whatever you want to call it. And because of it, it's given MIBR a lot of space around the map. They are yet to go towards this A bomb site. That's why we've seen these maybe heavier leans towards B for hype. And now MIBR at about 50 seconds, they're going to be realizing they've got the bomb site completely for free. Issue is not a huge amount of utility for anything really.
Yeah, they've got that one smoke. They can drop it into CT spawn, but history is here to at least watch the cross if they're not careful. But yeah, here comes that smoke, and now history is null and void in this round. He can drop his Molotov, he can call for a rotation, but that bomb will go down, and it'll be yet another retake attempt here for hype with minimal utility.
Just no one has any util. But these flashes, if used well, can pop players out. Unfortunately though, MIBR have full control of A main, they have temple control, they have donut control. This is a really nice post plant for them. Beast, not sure what the plan was there, makes noise, then pulls out his utility. Leo is going to get an opportunity in A main. There's still a possibility on this. Both players towards donut. No util as we were mentioning, so they can't obstruct their vision, and Drop just lines them up, and Sani finds the third, and MIBR once again in the post plant reign supreme.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult if you don't have a smoke, at least a cutoff donut in that situation. And Insani and Drop play that position very well alongside one another. I mean, Insani, when you're giving him a chance to just become a turret in the post plan, that's where he gets very dangerous as well. Of course, his opening stats and his entering are both fantastic, but sometimes in the post plan, he just really locks in, and I feel like he always makes the right decision at the right time. So things look good for MIBR to kind of run away with this half. And, you know, in that round there, they take all this lane control, they go 1-for-1 on B, and they just pause and fall all the way back through T-spawn and walk into A. That's not usually an advisable strategy, I'd say, but for hype, with how passive they've been playing and not opting for any sort of information gain, it's a viable strategy, because how would hype ever know that lane is clear, or that mid is clear, or that, you know, donut is occupied? I mean, they don't have any of that information.
Yeah.
So it completely works out for them. Just drop one smoke CT and go.
It's kind of been the theme, I think, and they've been getting away with it for their gamble stacks towards B, but that's the round where they don't get away with it. Oh, it's a not live. Well,
The America's Classic.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Well, we're at this stage where we're talking about maps. Do you have a favorite map in the pool? I don't know.
I think Nuke is very safely up there.
I agree.
I think
great map.
I think everybody, or at least a lot of people in the community, have that sentiment, and like, it just fulfills both of the aspects of CS, right? It's the strategy aspect of it, with like the rotations and how you can play around with both sides, and then the firepower as well. I mean, you think about the Kato final with like Donk just like killing people through smoke and just like doing some crazy things, and it's so exciting, right? It's not boring CS. It can be very exciting, but yeah, I think in general Nuke is up there. I used to be very excited about Inferno like a little bit ago, but I think that map has grown really stale, and so is Vertigo. And you know what? I would love Train to be back. I really would.
My god, I agree. That show match really like lit a spark back with being like, yeah, Train. It's such a Train was definitely like, because you look at Cobble and those like old like map, and you're like, yeah, Cobble was ass. Like, it was fun, and it was this like memorabilia map, right, where everyone thinks of it of like good times, but as a competitive map, not good. Whereas Train was, I think, yeah, Nuke would be my number one. Inferno, I understand what you mean, completely understand what you mean. I still quite like it. It's always been a map I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
as
fair enough.
like it's like heresy saying like, yeah, I enjoy Inferno, but I actually do. I think it's a really fun map to play. Maybe not as much to watch. The T side can get very stale though. Like it is kind of the same thing.
Hmm. I've been playing it a lot more recently.
Oh,
And honestly, I think playing it has been really good. I think T side has been fun to play at least. But yeah, I think watching it has been just such a bore. Like a lot of the exciting parts of that really.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're back on us. It was 6-2, I think. It's only two best of ones as usual. Veto for the next map. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I don't like to be honest. Like the vetoes in this series, I think it was always going to be like Ancient, Nuke, Vertigo, like one of those three. And we've got both of them, and I don't see MIBR should be losing either. But I'm honestly not too sure what the situation is, but I feel like we're getting once again the kind of like full South American treatment once more.
Yeah, I see. Look, it's not as bad as North America because that's when the updates drop every
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
so we just go into like a catatonic state on stream, and we just can't really do anything. And I swear, every time it happens, it's usually like a big game's on, or there's like multiple streams going, and our admins just freak out. Everybody just like hits panic stations. So
Yeah.
you know, it's not that bad, but it is all right, I suppose. I mean, overall, I think MIBR should be happy with getting Vertigo too. Um, I think I've seen Insani. I think that's probably Insani's best map, if I had to guess.
Let's look at his
He's just
stats for it.
so good. He's just so good on ramp on that map. Uh,
That checks
yeah,
out, like just running up and just popping heads. Like that
yeah,
just
exactly,
checks out
exactly.
so much. He's like I'd be surprised if do you think he can speak English? Like do you think he'd try get poached by like an EU team
See, the
or
thing is,
whatnot?
right, is the buyouts are so ridiculous in Brazil that
Yeah.
like they're locked into their region. It's very rare that any of these players would ever leave, unless it's like Fallen, who's just like such a big character that like buyouts don't really apply to him, and he can leave. Like he can just get up and
Hmm.
go to a different team in a different region. But you could see that Case Serrado didn't do it, and I think Case Serrado is probably one of those players that I would say could have done it if he wanted to. But yeah, I mean, still, we're gonna try to figure out this tech issue. Of course, you know it is what it is. But we'll see you guys after the break. It wouldn't be an America's matchup without some tech issues, but we should be underway in just a little bit. MIBR taking on Hype. Not necessarily the most close matchup so far, but I still think there's some silver linings for Hype. I still think that when they are in the right place at the right time, they're able to get the job done. It is just a question of whether or not they can. Right now, MIBR are kind of running circles around them, and we'll see if anything can change here for the CTs if they can claw this one back.
I wonder how teams feel when like this happens. Like, I can't imagine it'd be too great, but for Insani, I guess it is pretty good, because that's a pretty assertive, not just one, but double opening kill. History is here with the AWP, yet to have any impact whatsoever. One flashbang could end his whole career, and never mind. Just the good old classic body 1, 2, 3 double swing, and as soon as we got live, we've already had the round over.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you're Vinny or Vinna, not Vinny, and Leo, you're gonna want to save.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even know if MIBR are like keen on going for a bomb site. I think they just want to win by elim just to get away just to take away these guns. But MIBR, with a minute left on the clock, are crossing their T's, dotting their I's, making sure that no player can cause a heroic turnaround here. I just want to confirm this 7th round. They'll go together as a unit into that B bomb site. Drop has got a couple kills on his plate here. He spotted the barrel out of Vinna 100% here. That's a free kill for him. Oh, I was going to say, and he just flubbed his line just slightly. And it does give them a way out. It gives them an AK as well. But surely at this point, Exit should have that cutoff.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the cleanest, but I don't think it matters that much. Like, Drop had already done the heavy lifting that he needs to do, and Exit has just heard Vinna Beast not going to be offered up the frag spots. Oh. Okay, just taking his time. We love that here. You know, he got the kill. There's no issue whatsoever. Leo has been identified. If I'm MIBR, I'm hunting. Money actually isn't that great, but yeah, maybe you should stop hunting now. Come on. You all have 1,000 in the bank account. Okay, very costly, but they don't leave any survivors, which is going to heavily benefit them going into round 10.
Yeah, if they can get this round cleanly, it's pretty much no problem from that round previous, but heavy casualties here could be a cause for concern in the future. Max loss bonus available here for Hype, so I think we'll purchase into pistols. They'll have a couple of SMGs. We'll see what they can get done with this. These rounds can get a little dangerous if you're MIBR.
For sure.
Oh. Is the HUD live here?
Oh, my camera's not on.
Yes, I am here. It doesn't seem like we have a little bit of a HUD.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just have to do a little bit of reset there, but we'll be back in the game pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. No bother about that. Yeah, we're 7-2 for MIBR. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how.
This is one of the games, man.
Sure, it's short. So we are going to be going back to it. You know, there's things that no one can control, and it's no one's fault whatsoever. And we should be going back into the game soon. I can't even remember what we were talking. I think, were we talking? Yeah, the rounds can get dangerous, especially in South America. I feel like those lower buy rounds are the ones that, yeah, that's where you see a bit of trolling occur. Yeah,
for sure. How often have you done these kind of later streams? Because it's pretty late for you. I feel.
Honestly, it's been an annoyingly regular occurrence recently. I did 3 nights of NA last week, so that was like starting at
those
11
are even
PM.
later, right?
I think it was starting at 11 PM, 2 or one of the two, and then 2 best of 3s. And I've done, like, I did 2 weeks of South America on, like, CCT one time. Like, I was just exclusively on South American games. And I was going to bed at, like, 7 a.m., waking up at, like, 6 p.m. for 2 weeks. Oh my god, that was charred.
Hopefully, this will be a stream well worth your time, because MIBR are putting on a little bit of a clinic at this point.
Any time with you, Paladin, is a stream worth my time.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I think it's the first time we've actually cast together.
Yeah, I mean, we've been a part of like desks and stuff, but we haven't
yeah.
gotten the chance to cast. So glad to break it with this stupendous experience. MIBR out into the A bomb site. Breno, and we'll get an entry, but they've lost a couple of bodies, and History's been able to make the rotation in.
That was a very messy entry, and the post plant continues to have that same theme. 2 players on each other's toes in Donut. They know about the AWP. He's rotated towards Temple and gets one before he falls. Exit. The XIGL completely blinded, forced away in big box. This Molotov should force him away, lands directly on him. Can he really reposition? No. He thinks that Beast will maybe swing a bit quicker, so never actually gets towards A main, and a very scrappy round. There's no real other way to put it, but Hype, they take their third.
Yeah, that's fireworks there all across the board, and Hype will recover that AWP. No harm, no foul. MIBR, you know, they've been able to build a little bit of a bank balance, so it's no sweat off their back. 8 rounds is plenty on the T side of Ancient. I think in their minds, if they can nab this last one on the way out, they'll be laughing all the way to the bank. But for Hype, I mean, you want to get into those kinds of circumstances as often as possible. Create as much chaos into these rounds and really just try to force MIBR into uncomfortable situations. Force them to clutch out in 1v1s and 2v2s. And they haven't been able to do that all too often. It's another all-out aggression of a round here into this B bomb site. And they only go 2 for 1. Make that 3 for 1. Make that 4 for 1. Blink and you miss it. Hype win their 4th round of the board. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, that second half of this Ancient. It's been a very turbulent half of Counter-Strike, but you know, we've made it to the other end, and that's what counts. MIBR still leading 8-4 here at the end of the first half. Switching over to that defense, having an opportunity to just shut out Hype Esports right here, right now. But as far as things go, the T side are opting to go a little bit slower into this opening pistol.
On the other hand, though, MIBR kind of doing the opposite. Exit is deep in A main. He could just drop the util set right here, but instead he'll spot someone around elbow. Little does he know, there's 4 players there, and one with the bomb. There we go. Insani sees all of them. He's really playing with his life here, isn't he? He's retesting the waters, but they'll be just funneling into Safe's hand. The dual Berettas, they do drop the aforementioned bomb. However, that's all the success he'll get. Molo will impede their progress in Donut, and Hyper just kind of stuck in middle with, sure, Beast is on the B bomb site, but how do they get there?
Yeah, they're gonna have to try and cross somehow, some way. There are 2 players here to cut off that bomb's cross, and if it doesn't get over, then all this work that Beast has done will not matter. Vina can't even confirm that kill now. This is all over the shop at this point. Vina's trying to run right back to the B bomb site. Now he's going to fight forward. He has teammates available, but nobody's able to actually cross out of the plant spot at all. Insani is just taking kills back and forth, but Vina finally does make it. He still has a chance at this 1v2. He still has an opportunity to cut these down to 1v1s, but Exit is there. My goodness, what a weird round there.
I just don't understand how Beast isn't, like, apart from the space, how does he not get a single frag? And we saw, I was also critiquing the city side pistol for Hype, and I was like, I don't really know what the plan was there. How do you have both of your pistol rounds with that kind of same sentiment of, like, you have, it seems so, like, awkward and lost, and sure, you do get this really good lurk from Beast, and the bomb does go down, but that should have been a round 1. Especially because, like, what, Rainy gets a triple, and still no success, but 9-4, MIBR, they could just be kind of booking themselves into a win here on map 1. Yeah, I think the scoreline is somewhat misleading as, right. That's a shot and a half, but yeah, the score, like, this actually could have very easily been a lot closer, because MIBR, they do the exact same stuff they did at the end, they did at the beginning. They just don't get away with it. And imagine if they never did get away with it.
Hell, it could have been a completely opposite score. I mean, it could have been 9-4 to Hype. Who knows? But right now, MIBR, they do not care. They are going to take all these rounds for themselves. Hype will have themselves a purchase here in round number 15. And MIBR really are just 2 buy rounds away from just locking down this map here. And they'll get a lot of good weapons, utility to utilize in this round. Hype really are up against it, to say the least.
It's a must-win round, and a missed window smoke is not a great start to that. You can see Insani's like, where do I throw this grenade? The Molotov bounces back into the smoke. Now they're going to have to use the second one, and a smoke as well. Oh, what in miscommunication is this? Hype, sure, they do get mid-control, but at what cost?
Minute 25, you have 1 smoke and 2 mollies to really get yourself into a site. It's going to be a tough ask for them. They're holed up in cave here. They're waiting for the smoke to dissipate so they can at least try to go at Breno, but Breno will just get the information and fall back. A much more patient approach there from him, and I do like that. Nade down the lane, and Chop try to get up close and personal with his ME9. Utility out in hand as Leo falls, and now more pressure being added onto Hype as 50 seconds rings out, and they've got to make a decision. They're going to hedge their bets back to this A site, but that's where Exit and Insani lie in wait.
It's also kind of where MIBR read. You can see Safe is peering towards Red Room. And I think this smoke is going to 100% confirm that. A re-smoke towards Donut's going to force them to wrap into CT. Very awkward, and the spray is actually going to connect on the safe. Drop and Bernison currently blocked away. They can't do anything. Trying to catch the timing, but History patiently waiting. Only good for the first. 2 still in Donut. Remember that. And the bomb, it's being planted for them. What? Did they not realize there were players in Donut? And is this still going to work? How? 8 seconds left. Bomb will be planted. Bernison reveals himself by stepping towards CT. He didn't have to step. They didn't know where he was. And Hype somehow clutch away that round.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross. And finally, I mean, it's a mistake committed by MIBR, and it's actually punished. Bit odd there that you have a double-up Donut setup and none of it works. But Hype, they do find a way to snap the money of MIBR, considering some of these rounds have been pretty tight. And we'll have a little bit of extra time here to try and rack up some rounds.
A fast play towards A. Met with little resistance. Okay, it's an anti-eco. This should be fine. I'm just in shock that MIBR don't win that last round. Like, yeah, that was something. A bit of danger. It should be adverted. Yeah, okay. Only using 2 players, it's fine. Money slowly building up. Would have preferred maybe to keep a little bit more, but Hype, they're keeping this map contentious.
Let's see what they can do here. 4 rounds the difference to try and close this gap. But MIBR will have a very healthy purchase here. Still no opt for safe. I mean, hasn't really opted in for the sniper bar a couple of rounds on that offense. And I do think that he can lay down the law with that gun on that A site specifically. Instead, it's really has just been the Insani show. Aggressive here in middle this time around. Are Hype aware of it? Yes, they are. They just catch a sliver of his shoulder and take him down. But Breno's done some heavy damage to the floorboards of Cave. And that means that Hype, even with the man advantage, will still have to take matters into their own hands and slow the pace of this round down.
Where's Bomb gonna go? I could see them wrapping towards Donut here. Maybe throwing... Well, yeah, well, for now they're just holding for a ramp push. They understand, they've got the man advantage. MIBR have to make a move, but luckily for MIBR, they don't make that move. So Hype Esports don't actually take advantage of anything. And okay, they're not going to wrap towards Donut. They're going to fake this mid presence. They're going to take away any information there was and head towards B. This flashbang in Cave actually just kind of confirms that. I feel like they could have contacted that. It felt a little bit unnecessary. And a smoke towards Cave at a perfect time. Bernison gets spammed, tries to give it a little bit back, but can be forced away. And with 25 seconds, they're just running through that smoke. And okay, there is a smoke short, but Exit gets 2 as Rainy tries to push through. Bernison reveals himself a little bit too early from long, and in a 3 versus 3, the post plant with no kit must succeed.
Real tough situation here. Vina does still have a Molotov to stall out this post plant a little bit longer, and maybe even for one for the bomb. But safe drop. They've encroached upon this B bomb site. They found 2 kills amongst the 2 of them, and now it's all onto Vina. Not necessarily the opera of this squad, but he's going to have to get it done. That Molotov could be everything, though, as time continues to rot away. There's no kit available, and Vina's found another. A no-scope connects, and now it's all onto Exit. Time has expired. There is no chance for MIBR in this one. Exit will not live. Hype and Vinabeast in the 1v3 will make this round and this map go on for just a little bit longer.
What a round from Vinabeast. I don't know if you noticed as well, though, but in that 1 versus 2, Exit just did a lap around the pillar. Like, I don't know what the point was. I was watching that and I was like, why is he just running around the pillar? but I feel like he kind of fed that 1v3. Like the first swing, you know what? He hits the shot, he backs away, and he's just trying to survive. But that 1v2, they had to hunt him down. They had to play the buddy role, and they had to just take those fights. But they weren't able to do that, and they isolated themselves. And sure, he just hit a really nice no scope. But I feel like that was a very poor 1v2 specifically played from MIBR. And just what a weird round with people running through smokes, and also Bernarson giving up an opening kill to entry onto the bomb site when it was long and the rest of his teams were smoked off on short.
Yeah, just a very odd way to clutch that round. But Beast, you got to give him credit. Had a couple windows to hit the necessary shots and connected. So gives Hype a little bit more of an opportunity here. Another tech timeout, unfortunately. Is that number 3? Lucky number 3?
Oh man, we're far past 3 now. We've exceeded that number long ago. I feel this is a really like baptism by fire for me coming back.
Oh
to,
yeah.
It's my first ever ECL South American game.
The most America's broadcast you could get. And
yeah.
You know what? It's a good experience to have.
I call it like character building.
Yeah.
Like if you can get past this, you're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like
the short one,
we're back.
So that's good.
Yeah, it was just a quick disconnect from Beast. He gets so hype after the clutch, you know, celebrating, kicks out his Ethernet cable. He's back.
That's the reason we'll go with.
Yeah.
We don't actually have an official reason, so that's what we'll make up.
Just literally making it up, yeah.
Yeah. Well, full save here for MIBR. Bar Breno's Zeus, so we'll see what he gets done with that. That's really all they got left, and it's just an all-out stock pistol buy here in middle. I'm going to consider going just straight through that smoke. No, they'll just go spamming instead. Rennie should have a couple of freebies here. And he'll only get one. So, one said freebie locked in. And Leo will try to get some kills back. They've got the bomb site while all this has happened. And that should be round number 8 for Hype.
This game has got very interesting very fast, right? Like,
yeah.
When did this happen? When did we have like a 2-round game where one gun round can give Hype the lead? Like, this was not what I like hypothesized. Like, this should have been like a 13-5 type beat, but no, we're one gun round away from Hype exceeding the value of MIBR.
It is worrying to me, the signs I'm seeing here from MIBR in this game. You know, maybe it's travel back from Cologne or something, or
they traveled a long day ago, I feel like.
Yeah, it's been a while. So like
yeah,
even that excuse is kind of expired. So who knows? I mean, this team is still definitely going through some growing pains, even though this 5-man unit's been here for a while. That captaincy change seems to have rocked them a little bit more than people might think, but all can be forgiven if they can close it out right here, right now. Safe has got himself the sniper rifle, and MIBR have everything that they can ask for. It's on Hype now to continue this good look here, or get sent packing to Vertigo, our next map of the series.
Oh, that's a big opening kill. Insani has also somehow not been trade fragged. He has... he's lucky for this, and oh, this is really weird. Wait, they're gonna go through the smokes at the same time? How is Insani alive? My god, what is going on? How has Rainy got a double there? Paladin, I'm in shock.
Swinging your knife in the smoke is not necessarily optimal. They're gonna go charging into this B bomb site. History has found this kill, and Safe doesn't like what he sees. He's gonna back away. Tuck tail, give Hype their 9th round. This is anything but a stomp at this point in time. Hype have just found answers upon answers, and MIBR just look completely just out of their depth. They don't look like the MIBR that people get excited about. It's one that seems discombobulated in their setups. It's an MIBR that do not have all the individuals awake beyond Insani's heroics.
I'm not gonna lie, this feels like almost the MIBR we've been seeing at these international events. Like they at both the Esports World Cup and ESL Cologne, they've not been looking very good. You know, they got dumped by Spirit in Esports World Cup. They literally got 7 rounds across 2 maps. 13-2 by Mongols. Like, that's a really bad outing. I assume that sparked the change with leadership, and then, you know, they lose to actually Heroic on this map. Beating Heroic as well is not a positive. You know, they're playing with a stand-in, but then getting owned by 9Z and Pain, I feel like that's really worrying when you start bringing up the whole conversation of regional rivals, and then you go back to South America and you're losing to Hype potentially. Like, what's that about?
Well, it's still not over just yet. We'll see if that worst case scenario does tend to crop itself up. They've still got guns to deal with the situation, and Safe just gets blindsided by that flashbang from Vinabeast. Great work there from Rainy, but he will get taken down straight through that smoke from Insani. So back to the even stead of a 4v4, and Hyper making the right call to just contact into this B bomb site straight through the utility. Sure, that nade softens him up, but Insani's made the rotation, and so is Breno. The crossfire is established, and all that good work that Hype had just gets completely eradicated. 11 finally found for MIBR. Maybe they can turn a corner now.
I was just thinking at the start of that round, I was like, Hype have actually taken middle better than MIBR were taking middle. If you kind of cast your mind back, there was a few of those rounds where like Insani would be sent out, or Safe would go for an open pick, and there was very ineffective flashbangs from the favorites. But then right there, you know, Rainy, perfect util for him to succeed. And if they'd actually just gone to that beam site faster, there would have not been an Insani to rotate in, because that's what wins the round out. It was a really good rotation from Insani, and I do love the fact that he gets his first kill in Red Room and then gets his last kill by Cubby on B. Like, all of that happened in a sequence of like 15 seconds, so he's our player to watch for a very good reason.
Definitely so. And now they're going to go through with that mid play again, and again at Safe's AWP. He's found himself one, and he'll find himself another. Leo just cannot pull that trigger on the ground. And unfortunately, history's only found that one singular kill. It'd be a 1v5 in total. The ace necessary. He'll switch over to the rifle, but Breno is there. MIBR have finally stabilized this ship. And they surely should be able to close it out now, considering the finances have been just destroyed on the Hype side.
Yeah, that was like a real all or nothing type round, which they just found no success. What I'm even more impressed is the fact that Safe actually lands the shot on the player that was further back. He almost, because he didn't have the opportunity on the close player, right? So you would have thought he got run down, but that doesn't happen. And also Insani just like keeping up the good work. You know, he gets his 1 kill of the round. He's 23-10. And while speaking of Safe, right position, right time once again. Flashes ineffective. How on God's green earth has he been able to get a second again? And MIBR, they are flooding towards this A-bomb site. Flashes propelling them out. Exit holding the spray. And a 1 versus 4 is needed, but that's not going to be the case. And MIBR take the first map in this best of 2.
Yeah, it was a grueling best of 1 year for MIBR. It's a little lethargic, a little kind of tough to get it over the line, but you know, they eventually did, and you know, you kind of say just forgive and forget. MIBR get that best of 1 victory and look to kind of compound that success moving into theoretically their pick of Vertigo. So yeah, I think there's definitely some question marks. We'll definitely continue to point fingers, but for now, we could celebrate MIBR, I suppose.
Okay, we're celebrating them because they got the win, but for really nothing else. I will say, you know, like when a map does have that many tech issues, then you obviously start to throw in the conversation of like no one's feeling comfortable, and I feel like that favors the underdog. However, I mentioned in the last round, like kind of our Kadia player to watch, Insani. The numbers speak for themselves. Over 2 KD, almost a 3 KD, and 125 IDR basically. Like those are superstar numbers and numbers that we expect from him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, this guy is a superstar for a reason. Completely took over the game from start to finish, and you can just see the amount of impact that this guy has on this team and the amount of space MIBR give to him. But yeah, folks, that's going to be the first map of this best of one series, and we'll be back with that second map of Vertigo in just a little bit.
Well, map 1 was interesting. It was a lot of tech delays and it legitimately got quite close, but MIBR as the favorites did push it over the line, and after a extended break because of the CS update, we are back here with Vertigo. This is I think it's the pick of MIBR, kind of, when you look, it's like that's their kind of side of the veto. I was expecting this Nuke and Ancient, and we've got both of them. This is looking like a favorable map for MIBR, and a lot of it's because of how poor Hype are on it.
Yeah, well, let's see if MIBR have that coveted T side in them here. They chose T side on Ancient, and now they'll have the opportunity to let loose here on Vertigo. Execution is in, nade through. Malby will fall almost instantaneously, and so will Vinabeast, but Rainy is here to get a couple of his own. But he falls. They still retain the man advantage in the T's. And they'll continue to go swinging into Leo Drunky's dual Berettas. And you'll find a couple beneath himself. So, good for him. They get the pistol on the board. I say Leo Drunky. I feel like he's moved away from that at this point. He wants to be called Leo. And, you know what? I'll fix myself. It'll be Leo from now on.
Leo from now on. But, I guess with that round, if Rainy probably didn't get that double, an opener from the city side, probably would have been a more difficult affair. But MIBR, even though they didn't get the bomb down, they're still going to be purchasing up with the limited funds they do have. And this is a weird map for them because they have some like insane results on it, like 13-1 against Fluxo, where I think Insani went 20-3. And then you look at their like last results where they've just been owned by Pain on land and online. So I guess there's definitely a conversation like they're great against most teams apart from maybe like the best.
Yep, those teams are definitely no slouches on this map, so we'll continue to see how MIBR decide to go about this game. They forced into this one almost completely, and Exit found himself an entry as well. Vinabeast up close and personal with this MP9 will dish out damage, but will also accept a lot as he falls to Insani's Deagle. Breno punishes Rainy pushing down the A ramp. And now with a minute left on this clock, MIBR have got themselves a 5v2 to deal with. Only one rifle is really involved on that CT side in History's hands. And it looks like MIBR have a response pretty much instantaneously here.
It's definitely the conversation of like, is there anything MIBR could do to lose this round?
They can find a way, don't get me wrong.
If there's a will, there's a way. This utility kind of gives Leo an opportunity. Look, there's no Molotov to force him out, and flashbangs aren't going to affect him. Like, if they don't clear him effectively enough, he could be in for a field day. Rotation will come in from History, and they're not actually going to aggress towards headshots, so he's going to be safe with MIBR picking up that frag, and that one rifle you mentioned is now left alone. It's hanging around for a little longer than I would have liked, and there's a world gets caught off guard because of it, but no, Brennan will lose his life. History really needs to get away with this rifle, and it seems like I might be talking too soon, because coming through from the what? That's abhorrent.
Well, Drop will absolutely pick up that A1S after just flying through History's screen. And then Hype lose basically the worst round possible. It's that second round where your money just gets completely shattered as a CT, and you're just going to have the worst buy to defend your honor with. And you'll see it's 4 pistols, a couple of smokes, and that singular rifle on History. And you'll have to do a lot of heavy lifting, the Opper, and to do it on the rifle as well is no joke. And MIBR have a huge runway to run through with right now. And they've got to just knock down the goalposts. Here, Vina will fall, and Breno has got a lot of space up here through Tarp. Will find himself another, keyed up for one more, but he will fall to History on the way out.
Okay, getting back into the motion, MIBR. That pistol round, which is a blip on their record. Once again, we're in this element of trying to save an A1S. And I can't imagine he's going to be very successful. MIBR, even on Ancient, I kind of noted how aggressively they were not allowing the opposition to save anything. And right here, in these last 2 rounds, it's kind of paid off in their favor as they're going to be up against a full-blown eco right now. And starting to look pretty good as their engines start raring on Ancient. Just had that on Vertigo.
Yes, indeed. MIBR now teed up for a 3rd round, pretty much guaranteed at this point. Hype will have nothing to purchase into this one. And MIBR, I mean, as far as Ancient is concerned, I feel like it's much more difficult for them to gather as much momentum as they do. It's not a map where they have consistent win conditions just yet. But on a map like Vertigo, I mean, there is so much to love about their extremity players, what Insani can do, just running up ramp. But hold on, quick second. Couple of trades for Vina, and those casualties are significant. But upgrades and AKs all retained, and MIR will still keep 3 alive moving into this 5th round.
Yeah, so I saw M80 play Vertigo, and I really enjoyed how they had it. Of like the default would be, let's say, like a 2-1-1, and Sin would move around the map, and he'd be the like wherever he went was where they would bully that side of the map on that round. And I feel like it was just such a mobile round where like you always had contact everywhere, you always kept the other team guessing where you might go, and he was kind of the linchpin of like he would control everything. And it was actually really enjoyable to watch. In the meantime though, Hype, they have missed their gap smoke, so that's not going to be in play today. It went straight off the map, and there was no jump throw on that, so you can't even blame that.
Now, raw aggression from Leo and Rainy, and they will still find themselves a couple between them. It's worked out, Molly missed or not. Even kills all over the shop here for Hype. It's just all-out aggression here on this ramp side. The CTs will net themselves their 2nd round. That's a lot more like it. That's what I wanted to see on Ancient, where you're just very in your face. You never give respect to that favorite. You force them to make hard decisions, and a hard decision there, I mean, they can't even make one. They just kind of all fall like flies. So really credit to Hype there to kind of bring the pain there.
Well,
no.
even with oh no, oh my brother in Christ.
Oh, hey, we got 5 rounds deep. That's
It's
a world
not
record
even as
in some places, I think.
We had 7 before we kind of like imploded last time. Oh, bye bye. R.I.P. Real ones know about Leo.
Well, you know what? We can talk about M80's Vertigo a little bit more. I
think it's just really.
Point. I mean,
it's just like I think it's a very common style of Counter-Strike play Vertigo. I think they just do it so well.
Yeah. I think Vertigo is in such a weird spot right now in the pool where not many teams are opting in for it at the topmost level. So when you've got M80 and they've got opportunities to play internationally, they're gonna utilize the pool as much as possible, and that's where they go to Vertigo, and they've really been trying to hone that map in, considering that does give them an edge. And I think they've really got it figured out. I think there's a lot to talk about in terms of whether or not Lake is completely integrated in that roster. And I think he's still got a long way to go. But yeah, of course, if the foundations are looking as solid as it is, Lake's integration won't take that long. It'll be a little bit more plug and play, which is good. It's good to see.
I think for me, what I was kind of like, how I observed the Lake situation was like, it's a massive upgrade for him. Like, as in, like, he goes from what, like a middling low-end ECL team to like the second best team in North America type beat. Like, that's going to be hard. He goes from playing Elevate to like Vitality.
Right,
There's big differences there. But I think, as Scoopster, shout out my boy, he does fantastic articles. And he basically was, he's a plug-and-play for Maubs. Like, it's a perfect replacement. Like, all the statistics that favor an entry, like, Maubs was #1 in ECL last season. #2 was Lake. So it was, like, a really clear, obvious pickup. And he's actually seemed, from what I've seen, both regionally and internationally, he seems to have kind of been like a duck to water.
Yeah, it's a hard task to kind of fill the shoes of Malbs, who's just been taking over the scene right now on G2, but it's a long road to get there, and he's already starting to walk the path. So I'm excited to watch them, and I'm excited to continue watch NACS later on in the day. But we've got to finish off the SA broadcast here as MIBR hype is underway yet again. It's that ramp take once more. At this time, it's actually dropped to lead the charge here. Minute 35, they're already up to the base of this A site. Really cause for some concern, as Insani will also find an entry on the way out onto Leo.
Back to winning ways on my BR, which doesn't bode well for hype. I do like this re-aggression towards middle. They're not going to be met with a reward of a frag, but they're going to be met with the reward of information and space. And now what's important is how they react off this. They've got deep B control and history. He's going to be slithering down through the back lines, but equally, look at Safe. He's in CT spawn and history. He might get backstabbed here as a player in Z. Oh, this is so awkward. Safe also doesn't succeed while he's in CT. He was so deep. And when's Exit going to move? When's Exit going to start holding the flank? He's saying to his teammates, look, flank's clear. But that's where history is, because he came down the ladder. This is so awkward. And they're waiting for history. The pinched man here. He's going to get offered a free kill, and he does, make it a second. What a spray transfer. Insani, 1 HP towards Sandbags, and finally Exit's going to have some impact, but I think it's a little bit too little, too late. There is a kit now diffusing. Oh my god, They don't clear Sandbags, but Malby defends with only 4 HP. Oh, Exit, you had to check behind.
I mean, I don't necessarily even know why Exit
You're
is still
joking.
sitting. Okay. All right. I mean, I love how everybody just looks at that crumpled body. It really is just hilarious. But yeah, I don't necessarily know what Exit is sitting at the bottom of B stairs like that for so long.
I don't know, man.
You're not going to get a rotation that directly, you know? I mean, that was a little overzealous. And if he's there even 5-10 seconds more, history's lurk actually just doesn't even work out. There's a real world where he just gets backstabbed without firing off a shot. So very, very awkward situation there for MIBR. And the T-side woes continue, man. It still feels as though they're not completely on the same page here just yet.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, over in the other games on ECL, South America tonight, they're all about to end. There's one in overtime, but apart from that, we're just getting started. So all the attention can now be turned to us.
We definitely picked the right game.
Entertainment value and view and stream time, we picked the right game.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna do great numbers for the impressions and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
What is it? The KPI? Is that the lingo that the folks use?
I actually don't know. I mean, I guess it's like average viewer time, or just unique viewers. It's getting all of that, right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh well, I guess on the other ends, Fluxo, they've gone 2-0 in their best of 1 series. Insanity have won the first map and are currently in overtime with Case, and that one's right down to the wire, 14-all. So, cool stuff.
However, we are right down at the wire with 3-all.
True. We are locked into a very close game here too.
What was Exit doing that last round? I understand that they didn't have any control towards B, but why with 25 seconds on the bomb left, you're like, you know what? He's coming from B. Don't worry, guys. I've got him. Watching about that demo, I would love to sit there and be like, what was your thought process there?
Yeah, to see a demo review of, and Knack is just talking to the boys and Exit, what were you doing here?
what was the plan?
Why? It doesn't feel like we have an official result as to what's going on. As far as I know, I think the internet just generally right now in Brazil is not very good. Yeah, and I think Insani's crashed. So the other issue with pushing updates at this point in time is that sometimes, obviously the game will just start to tweak out in certain ways.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we just don't have the response timing just yet because of how new the update is. So it is what it is, I suppose.
But like Valve's a small little indie company, and you got to give them some slack, right?
It's a free game. It's the new one that I've heard is it's a free game, so you can't complain. You can't complain.
Even though you have to pay to like have it. Oh my god, he's back in the server.
And pay
There
to,
is hope.
Join ESCA Open Season 51.
Facts.
Because you can do that right now. Registration is open.
Facts.
With a Looking for a Team beta also available. So you don't want to miss out on that.
You know what? If you're sitting there, little Timmy, and you're like, but I have no friends. Today you can find some. Upgrade
Looking
your
out for you,
matchmaking
little
experience. Yeah, this is all for you, Timmy. Have you ever played ESCA?
No, not yet. I've done some subs for Cole's team, but he hasn't given me the call up to the main roster. So
rough.
I've got to put in the work. I've not been putting in the work.
Yeah. That's rough when you can't even get invited to like
Yeah,
a mix.
I'm on the B team.
That's so rough. But what is probably more rough is the fact that Exit's on 3 HP and he's got the hero AK. Luckily, Drop also has armor, so that can be handed over, and that's exactly what's going to happen. But really good counter utility towards the B stairs. We are back live, believe it or not. And things you'd love to see as well. History's just in A. He's just down A ramp. Did that smoke?
Yeah.
Where's that smoke come from? No, that wasn't the CT smoke. They've actually smoked the railing. Yeah, okay.
That's weird. Okay, yeah, maybe it was a T smoke there, but either way, MIBR want nothing to do with it. They're going to reroute back that same B bomb site that they got peppered with utility from. And they've got a little bit of a set piece here. And Sonny's got a nifty little molly to also cause some concern there. But 50 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to start encroaching sooner rather than later, especially considering how much utility that they've dumped. Insani has still got a pin pulled, and while all this is happening, Vinna has found 2 through the smoke. This is less than desirable. Here they come.
There's the Molo. You know what? That Molo, it had good vision. There was a vision in that round. It had good thoughts. But ooh, you know what? I was gonna say 2 kills, but like, oh, that was a weird eco round. It's kind of like, look, they don't have any of A ramp. Surely your mindset's not like, okay, guys, we'll go to B and it will be fine. Like, you have to understand. Wait, but the bomb's gonna be planted. Okay, that was some 40 chests right there. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen.
Oh, I mean, that's the best way to goad out a CT to fight you. So. Credit to Insani to actually be able to die there instead of after time. And good idea from Hype as well.
Just like, well done, you died. It's like a weird oxymoron. Like, well done.
Yeah. But I have to say, very disjointed situation there again from MIBR. Like, you can see that they've got this idea for a set piece, but you've got the mid player throwing the B utility a whole 5 to 10 seconds after the B stairs players have actually thrown it, and they're still sitting behind smokes after they've thrown most of the utility too. It's very all over the place for MIBR, so we'll see if they can get it back in a high gear, because Hype have now taken the lead.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay, that seemed a bit overzealous. Bomb will be retrieved, safe and sound, and MIBR, they're going to take that bomb site, forcing the save. We've seen how aggressive they have been in the past with hunting down these players. I wonder if they're going to do the same now, even though they don't have really the economy to work with.
Yeah, it's just not really worth it at this point, is it? I mean, you want to keep 5 men alive so you have another buy left in the tank. That'll be ideal. And I hear typing. I really hope
my brother in Christ
that's just somebody saying good job, nice shot in the chat, and that's it. Or something like, I can't wait to play more rounds of Counter-Strike.
God, guys, I love Counter-Strike.
Well, only a couple seconds away from knowing if it's a tech timeout or not.
Oh,
and it's not.
No. Wait. Don't jump the horse. Wait till the round is live and wait till damage is done. Because we've had the live rounds.
That is true.
We've had everything.
That's true.
Right. Either way, not much of a save there. Only I think the AWP got saved, right? Okay, everyone's
Yeah,
moved.
pretty much.
God is good. Wow, they're really not good at that smoke, are they?
No, not
How
really.
do you miss that smoke? Like, there's lineups. So, just go on. You've had so many tech pauses. Just go on nut out here.
Pull up Nart, real quick.
Yeah, bro, it's not hard.
Alright, well, they're gonna run up ramp here, and Breno's only found one. Rainy now has to deal with the rest of the attack, can't get out of sandbag safely, so we're into the 3v3. Vina is still here, and Malby is very quick on this rotation too, so MIBR can't necessarily just commit to this A bomb site straight away. So we'll see what they decide to do. They can always double back, but I think it's that sunk cost fallacy that's setting in right now for them. They've gotten A ramp control, they've dumped so many resources, why back away now?
I think the resources have come from them losing players. Like, they want to take ramp control, just so costly, and perfect re-aggression from Malby. Safe, completely caught unaware, and the MP9 claims 3 victims.
Man. Malby doing so much work with that SMG. I guess one more purchase for MIBR if you want it. I think you can opt in just for a hero rifle, maybe. Yeah, you can get armor behind that. Get vests on these players. If you want to play hot potato with that AK, you can. But I guess just trying to add something pacey into this for MIBR right now. I don't feel as though they're playing like favorites. I just do feel like they're very apprehensive. They feel very disjointed. Just very unlike the MIBR I've seen pre-player break. And I gotta tell you, Freddie, I mean, this is the worst time to look this discombobulated with the RMR cycle right around the corner.
Luckily for MIBR, they're actually in the closed qualifier. They're actually in the RMR itself.
Yeah,
so that
is fortunate.
A little
for sure.
bit more time. They don't have to go through that testing, like open qualifier madness, which you've seen in Europe today, actually be quite brutal to some of these teams that are supposed to be some of the better in the region. And we've seen some quite funny upsets. Like, who were Rhino again? Didn't know they were. Forgot Portuguese. Apparently Portuguese CS is the best CS ever.
Yeah.
But they do love a hero AK, don't they, MIBR?
Yeah, the money just works out that way, I guess. But Rainy, he doesn't care. He's still going to go swinging for the fences. Still going to find himself a couple. And history on the USP, of all things, will find himself a double as well. It's all onto Breno. Still has himself that AK-47, and is the only player to find kills in this round. Would love to get this clutch and put MIBR back in a advantageous position. He's got a 1v1 available, but will not be able to pass that test against Leo. 6-4 now for Ripe. They continue to widen this lead, but MIBR will have themselves another bye, and we'll go right back to this.
History's just like, I don't need to use my AWP. Hold my beer, metaphorically. Just uses the USP. Great things. But that hero AK, look what it's done, you know, like exits on a little because of it. So did you really have the necessity to buy a hero AK? I guess in Europe, no, but in South America, it's like, you know what, it works quite a lot. But History, how has that Molotov not tagged him? That has spread weirdly, and this could actually be the downfall of MIBR. They haven't peeked into him just yet. He's toying with the idea that someone's already crossed. Flashbang. Right. The flashbang doesn't even hit him, but MIBR, they obliterate too. And MIBR's, their flashbangs have been consistently not affecting players on this ramp take.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it? But it does work out for them in the end. MIBR will get those entries, but can they close the round out from this stage is the question. It seems so, because Hype have completely evacuated. We've got a player in CT spawn already, and Leo boosted up. Or sorry, that's Vina. But Leo is back in spawn. So MIBR will get themselves their 5th round. Hype want to make sure that they've got purchases in every single round in the half, and I don't blame them. You can see that they always have the utility necessary to put up a fight, always have the weaponry to make sure that these are competitive duels, and for that reason, I don't think this is a bad idea.
Ooh. Okay, now you start having the conversation if it was a bad idea, because their reinvestment in the next round is going to be a bit iffy. Final round though. Hype. What's their loss bonus? What, 1900? 1400. Okay, so yeah, both sides are going to have a very precarious purchase going into this final round.
Yeah, interesting. MIBR should still have a bit of a purchase. I think Insani's the only one that's going to be...
Actually, no, they're kind of fine.
There we go.
They're actually more than fine. Oh. T-side economy works in wild, wacky ways, doesn't it?
I know, right? It just... The weapons just magically appear. Yeah, it's crazy. Hype do have some concessions to make, though. 2 MP9s for themselves, and it's that aggression down ramp. It's been very kind to them, and they're going to get that deep bridge smoke tossed in. Leo still wants to fight, and he cannot get out alive. Huge kill for Safe to find. Rainy is still hell-bent on keeping this part of a position, but he will also fall away. But great kill to find on the fallback.
Feels like MIBR want to be heading towards the A-bomb site here. Utility being propelled out. Rainy mollowed out, but no one's holding. Okay, if Rainy had actually just left side, like gone to the side, he would have survived. I think that was a very weird interaction from Drop, and he's trying to fake A, so his team want to go B. Yeah, they want to go B. They want to go B ramp, but there's 2 players here. Hype haven't bought it. And History, with this AWP, could be a real nuisance. Unfortunately, that won't be the case. Vina Beast. Oh. That nade, it actually would have probably killed Exit if it landed on him, but unfortunately, he just reveals where he is. And a good resmoke could just be the end of Vina Beast. There's no kit. Not sure if there's one to pick up. Makes noise dropping off from heaven. They know exactly where he is. And IBR, they shouldn't give him anything.
Yeah, there should be a locked-in round for MIBR, but Vina has put up a clutch before. Spots out one player at the bottom of the stairs, but can't do it. We're going to throw it to a break as we stay dead even between MIBR and Hype at 6s.
I think if you told me going into this series that not just one map, but actually both of these maps were going to be contestable, I would have called you silly. But Hype, they have put a performance on for us, and MIBR have looked not the same as we'd notably think of them.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done for MIBR here to really win us over here in the casting booth, but we'll see what they have on the defensive end. This should be a little bit more cleaner. This should be where MIBR lock in. But Hype, very methodical here in this pistol. Very passive, not showing face anywhere, trying to punish potential aggression, but none of that will come. So they will encroach upon this mid position. They've got a little bit of utility tossed on in. Here comes the flashbang, and Safe will be up to bat first.
Oh, and he does not miss. Hits for a 6. A double. What a double. What a sequence. And, well, Burn is actually in a really awkward position between mid and gap. He's being wrapped upon, but he reads it perfectly. Bomb still down, and he still claims that. Interesting enough, Leo is actually completely evacuated. They knew he was towards middle because he was the one who got the kill. But he's doing a loop-de-loop. And I think he's going over towards B ramp. In the meantime, History, who had scaled up gap, is still going to be identified. This P250, it just got dinked through the wall for like nothing. Leo could really catch them off guard, but as I say that, Insani's actually expecting this. It does not matter. It's a 2 versus 2. Jewel Bredders finally put an end to this madness. And okay, MIBR, they clean up the pistol round.
Yeah, the problem was just that that bomb was in no man's land, that Hype just had to take individual duels. And sure, History puts on a blinder of a shot down, but it's not enough. They needed at least a couple more. When MIBR, they passed that test. Credit to Safe to find the double there. And now pressure on Hype. Not necessarily in this round, but it'll continue to build here, as round number 15 will be when they get the guns out. Just one flashbang invested for Hype. And I'm assuming they're just going to try to pop out on a specific part of the map together and hope that that flashbang does the damage. Oh my god, I thought Insani made a drop noise, but it's pretty much perfect there from the superstar. He'll find himself 2. And he'll rack up a couple more here.
So this is how he gets his stats. It's all making sense now. It's all aligning for me. It's like, yeah, okay. The Eco Cobra. And there's the final. I mean, a fat injection of cash. I think it's, what, 3k across all of Exit and Insani. Got 6.3k, so they choose to stay on these SMGs. And Insani might, because look at his spawn. I think Brother's thinking of just dropping down on the B side. That's exactly what he's going to do. He has put a full belt of utility. Somewhat misleads me. But I wouldn't mind him going for a bit of an aggressive play with the SMG still in play. As Hype now onto the rifles. Ooh, off he goes. Come on, go for it. Jump down, jump down. Attaboy. Aww. He had the spawn.
Didn't want it. Straight away a boost for Breno. To see if he can catch one on that ramp take, but
there's no one even
not
there.
That keen, yeah. They're not going for it in that sense. Just a very slow T side here from Hype, and yeah, they've really struggled on this half of the map as far as their win stats go. So we'll see what they have in store here, but I guess it's going to be this contact play out middle. 3 players here, straight at Insani and drop. This crossfire could be deadly.
Flashbang, Drop just stares at it, but no one clears Insani. The MP9 jumping around. Molotov's protecting him. Exit's also going to swing through. Everybody's here for the party in middle. It has left the B-bomb side a little bit open, so we'll allow for the bomb to be planted. Leo and Malby trying to play this 2 versus 4, but the grenades, artillery, everything striking them down. Malby overwhelmed. And MIBR near flawless on what is practically a bonus buy.
Yeah, that crunch in the middle is just so effective, right? I mean, you've got drop, you've got Insani taking away so much attention, jumping and just being an absolute nuisance, and even making damage happen on these jumps, right? And that's where Exit is able to come through. Drop is able to help out as well from jump up, and MIBR just lock down that portion of the map that even if the bomb goes down, it's no harm, no foul. It's an easy, simple retake. And you could see that none of those players on the B-bomb side were ever going to feel comfortable. And that gives MIBR their 9th. They ballooned this lead to 3. And now, as I said before, pressure continuing to build for Hype.
Also, to keep updated with the final, every other game apart from ours is finished. Double overtime victory for Insanity? Not my Insanity, right? It's just Insanity. Yeah, Insanity. My Insanity is an old UK team. It's a Swiss organization. But that's just finished, so we're the only remaining game going, and with 9-6, MIBR, they could just run away with this half. You shaped it up as bad statistics for Hype on the T side. Overall, it's a pretty bad map for them in general, which also does add a little bit further concern for MIBR and their troubles on that T side. And Hype, they're actually going for the exact same play, exact same utility, and this time it's going to work out really well. The wrap has so much weight to it. Rainy gets a double. Insani on the back of the B-bomb side, equally overwhelmed. Rainy, what a sequence from him. So dastardly with that Tech 9, gets all 3 kills, and as soon as I was saying MBR were looking good, they actually are forced to save.
It's just that one flashbang, right? I mean, that one flashbang catches Safe off guard, and he just gets blindsided, just destroyed. Rainy with that pace, with the safety, knowing that he's got teammates as well to trade him out. I mean, that kind of no pressure sequence is so nice to have. It's one of the best feelings you can get in CS, when all those entry pathings are working out in your favor. MIBR will have to give a 7th. These are some of the tougher rounds to build upon, just when, you know, the T side have got vests, they've got upgraded pistols, and they've got just a little bit of utility. Things can get very scary.
We will have the AWP, so it will be not the worst case for MIBR, but that should have been a 10th. And it's just the fact that Hype literally run the exact same round with the exact same utility, and MIBR with on better weaponry get caught off guard, caught with their pants down, especially Safe in middle. Like, probably the worst timing for him as he's crossing. But okay, Hype, is this going to lead to a further upward trajectory, or is it going to be a flash in the pan? No poppy gimmicks, back to a default with 1 towards B, 1 middle, and 3A. However, Vinner needs to be a little bit careful because MIBR applying some pressure specifically towards middle.
Sani spots ahead, but can't connect. Still very trained on that potential duel. He takes a damage. It's giving off a dink animation, but he's not taking that much damage. It's actually Vinna that loses out that engagement. And now Hype will have to reorient themselves elsewhere.
Well, they've seen the AWP middle. However, the AWP is still actually hanging around. There's definitely a thought process that the AWP will have left. Might want to try to go mid to B or whatnot. What succeeded. Hype are also terrified of a push from like ladder because they had no control there. And yeah, gonna go towards middle where actually, ironically, Insani and Vinna still actually remain. That nade lands on Vinna. Insani finishes what he started. He knows there's a second player here, and he will succeed in claiming their head. Now, 35 seconds, 3 versus 5. Hype just gonna throw themselves as a bomb site. Really good utility on gap, but exit gets caught off guard slightly on the bomb site. Bomb would be lucky to be planted, and Malby might actually have that luxury. Nope, I speak too early. History dropped. And MIBR, a pretty easy 10th, all things considered.
Yeah, they wanted that mid prong to work, or at least catch some sort of rotation to pull a couple players through, but MIBR deal with that mid problem very quickly. And as soon as that happens, you can instantly have a third player to deal with whatever's coming on A. So it was really not a big issue for MIBR to close out that one. Rotations are very snappy here. And Hype, they're running out of funds. They're running out of opportunities as well. Winning a half buy will gain you some sort of runway, but it's got to be this round right here, right now. Breno's up to the task. He's found himself one. But will fall straight away, and Sani there for another trade. Back and forth we go, but Hype will get themselves ramp control at the very least.
Yeah, but at what cost, right? You lose a man advantage, and you don't even have mini ramp. Like, you're still fighting for... Oh, no, they do have that. Sorry. Vinner, though, there's space in middle. Let's play closer attention to him. Oh, Insani. You can never get the best of him. And Drop's also taking full control of B. But identified. That's a massive frag to be giving up. Hype now. Gonna set sail towards this B bomb site. Or it's a fake. They're going back towards A with History searching with the AWP. Exit. It's actually split up from his teammates. And I'm not a fan of this for the C side. You're playing retake, I would hope, if you're Exit. But if History goes pushing and finds this pick, like, that could be really dangerous. And Exit, he has the right idea. But he's going to get caught on these timings, I can imagine. Nope, never mind. It will go out in his favor. History goes really aggressive with that AWP. And that will be his downfall. Now, hasn't even drawn over Insani. Will finally now, with the bomb being planted. As Rainy in a 1 versus 2 reconfirms where Exit is, and will get caught off by Insani out in the open as he tries to progress towards Gap.
Yeah, well played there from Exit. Not overplaying his hand there, giving away the bomb plant. It's all fine if that happens. They know that they can just play the 2v1. Do not give an opportunity at that clutch. And Insani pencils it in. The 11th is found 2 rounds away now for MIBR. And that 2-0 would be fantastic to have. Again, I can't tell you that necessity that MIBR need this 2-0 with to climb up the rankings to confirm an upper bracket spot in the playoffs.
I think a 2-0 is a must for MIBR to secure that upper placement seeding. But for Hype, they're more thinking about salvation, just pure survival. And it's not like going to getting a real last-ditch effort now with the AKs. The default leaning towards the B bomb site. I think they're honestly just going to try and end here.
Maybe so. And Malby's found himself a hell of an entry. Drop falls almost instantaneously. Another kill teed up for Insani, but cannot reorient his crosshair fast enough. Breno was found to lurk on the other end of the map, so the rotations have got to come in thick and fast. It's only safe here. Neo Drunky pressed towards the generator, and it's really all unsafe. I mean, the rotations are here, sure, but it's a little bit too late. That flash is not good enough, and Malby will find that necessary kill.
I was going to say, is this still possible? Actually, is it? This nade going to do a whole host of damage. Never mind. Does actually quite nothing. Malby, you've got those oppressive entries. Tucks behind quad. He's in the known. Breno just waiting for someone to peek, but no one's giving anything. Time's ticking down. And as he fades away, Malby swings in, claims his frag, and Hype go to an 8th because of these really nice opening kills that kind of just got gifted to them.
Yeah, it was a bit odd. Not necessarily a good round for MIBR there. I mean, again, you gotta credit Malby for a huge triple kill. Shocking that he was able to get that much out of such a little space, but he makes it work either way. Safe has got his AWP, is gone for a swing down ramp, found an entry. Rainy, a huge shining light here for Hype, is out of the round.
It does feel like when MIBR gets the opening kills, they do just close off the round. And for Hype, what worked in the last round was it was no messing around. They just went to a bomb site. I'm going to try emulate this once more towards A. Breno looking to catch off Malby, but that smoke will actually potentially be his downfall. No, he survives. Exit, smokes himself in sandbags. Wait, are they... What's going on? Are they... What?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The round, it's over. They've actually just lost it. Are you kidding me?
What the hell?
Why was no one clearing him?
I mean,
Why did he just fall off?
He jumped twice and made every sound cue in the world
smoked
that he was
himself.
there.
That no one was looking at
He smoked
him.
himself. Oh my god. And then he jumps off the map because he gets lost in his own smoke.
That...
Oh my god.
Welcome to Brazil.
Oh my god. When we play on, I guess. Safe's good looks didn't matter for anything, really.
Oh my god. They don't get a single kill on that defense. How on God's green earth has that happened? I just...
That
is
that just
yeah.
that just encapsulates this
Oh, yeah.
day, you know.
Oh yeah. Live, laugh, Brazilian Counter-Strike. And you know
Truly.
what? We're going more. Don't you have an NA fixture
Oh!
to get to? Of course, Insani hits that shot. Just of course.
You know, it's so funny to me when the quality of CS is like this, and then they'll go internationally and just win everything.
They beat like top tier European teams.
This is how they looked like going into Copenhagen, man. Like, come on. Don't tell me you can explain SA Counter-Strike, because you can't. There's no way to really contextualize any of it.
Okay, this eco shouldn't be a danger. It terrifies me that Safe is still
Shouldn't?
hanging around. Like, are they... This is a contestable round, but okay. Vinna takes matters into his own hands. What? Oh my god, the Glocks are out for everybody. Do they know about exit? Yeah, they do, because he got the spam through the smoke, and well, that's confirmed there. Rainy opting to go for the fight, and he actually gets dinked. Orp will be retrieved for the... No, Orp won't be retrieved for the T side. But that got terrifying. Imagine if Safe just got one more frag.
Yeah, holy hell, that was really close there for Hype, but they get it over all the same. They will purchase into this one. MIBR will be opless. Safe could not hold on to it, and that means we're in crunch time here on Vertigo. This is a chance for Hype to take the lead in a way.
What?
And it's a chance for MIBR to close out the game. It's really all in their hands here.
This is exactly what happened on Ancient, and MIBR did buckle down, but Rainy, does he get a second? He's blinded, so he won't be allowed that opportunity, but fast plays through middle. Insani overlooked. He was completely blind, and it actually favors him. Drop is also going to lend aid to his teammate History, trying to speed up from Gap. Insani's read into this. This duel dictates everything. And Insani, our player to watch for good reason, will leave Leo Dirk in the 1 vs 2. He fails at the first hurdle, and MIBR, they go to a 12th begrudgingly.
By the skin of their teeth, ready. MIBR, hold on. And I've got to say, Hype had a good idea there. You know, you get gap control, you get History that close up and personal to the CT spawn, and you're thinking, once he's got that positioning, that mid prong can come through, but it's just slightly off timing. They've got to go through smokes, and I've always questioned, you know, tossing in that mid lurk smoke and going through it. I do like it in use to wrap into B, but if you're a CT, you've got nowhere else to go. You got to sit behind that, and that's where, you know, Drop is given pretty much a freebie there, and they just shut out that round. Insani's been on an absolute heater, and of course, if it's Vertigo, he will be there to get his numbers. New roles, no problem. It's been smooth sailing for him. It's really just the rest of the pack trying to keep up. But they've got 2 opportunities now to close this series out and just forget about it. Just ignore what happened here and look at the tape a week from now.
Oh, like, there's been so many just, like, small issues that are just so big at the same time. Nades going back and forth, but T-side's nades are going to be a little bit more brutal. Drops down to 52 HP. We've seen this boost previously for MIBR, and it actually didn't warrant any success. It's very similar stage of the round where Hype just don't go towards A, and MIBR, they do have 2 players on B. It's a very good start to this. They also have fast rotations towards middle. You know, they have no one deep ramp, for instance. They're all playing close enough, and Hyper giving a lot of respect, a lot more than I would have assumed. Are they waiting for aggression?
Perhaps. I mean, they know that that mid play had come out not too long ago, but this really does make me feel like the hype of Ancient and the hype of the beginnings of Vertigo, one that was a little bit more timid. But still, they get themselves to the base of mid. They still have an opportunity to try and let loose here. They're getting space on B stairs. Insani tosses his Molotov, and Drop is still safe behind the quad box, or the quad pillar. And that should be it, though. Insani falling, Drop will get spammed out. And exit Breno, they don't have anything to do with this round. There is no money. Overtime genuinely looms around the corner now.
I was gonna say, I hate to break it to you, I think we're going to overtime.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
It's okay. Don't worry. You get a reward of NACS after this.
Look, I actually do feel like that's a reward, okay? I mean,
like, how are MIBR going from winning international competitions to this?
yeah, they were going toe-to-toe with Eternal Fire, and now Hype is causing problems. It's a worrying sign. I mean, no matter the result of this game at this point, I mean, you look at the birth of the two games that we've played out today, and nobody really feels comfortable about what they provided. I don't really feel that excited about MIBR at this point. And I'd like to be proven wrong. You know, they've still got a load of time between now and the RMR, but look, man, you've got to grit down and really lock in, because this team is expected to qualify to the next stage of competition.
Oh no, this round, there's no one towards B right now. IBR, if they don't get a move on, we're in overtime. Drop, instantly decapitated, he rotated in. Insani now, the closest line of defense with only an MP9 to hand. He's going to be forced away from very abrasive utility. All four players now in a disadvantageous position will be retaking from CT. They have the kits. They have some flashbangs. They have a smoke that's been used to try and aid their way. There's another one as well, potentially for the bomb. But this is overtime. Written all over it. Hype, it's going to have to be a massive fumble for them to lose this. And now here come the charge. The cavalry are being torn apart one by one. They are falling down. It's flawless. A flawless round for Hype to send it to overtime.
Oh my god. I mean, talk about a run back here from Hype to just grit down and win a couple of these rounds out. MIBR are not able to close it out in regulation. And they're going to have a couple of attempts to right the wrongs of what happened in those first 24, but Hype, at this point, look, man, I think you can be happy with your performance. You know, you've pushed MIBR to the brink on both of these maps, and you really forced them to respect you.
Well, I was kind of saying at the very start of the pre-show, I was like, MIBR haven't looked great since coming back from the off season, and this emulates that fact even further. However, just naturally, they get two opening frags in overtime, because why would they do that in regulation? That would be silly.
Oh, it's the overtime classic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is that goes beyond just the SA region. That is
universal.
That is CS, pure CS. Well, History tries his hand at a pick, and safe is there. Rotation is through. Vina will fall, and it seems to be a flawless round the other way now for MIBR, as Malby will try to get some auxiliary frags, pad those stats a little bit, but it will not be. 9 HP done in terms of damage for Hype, and that's it.
I think it's Vertigo. Because it was the Amcal Nip was Vertigo as well. I think it's Vertigo.
You might be onto something. You might
I
be
think
onto
I'm.
something.
I think I've cottoned on. But Dow who pushed into overtime shall not win the first round. It's an age-old saying. It's on wall paintings, if you go back and try find it.
Yeah, that's got to be one of my favorite things.
Yeah. But, ooh, this is messy. Somehow, they actually get both kills, MIBR. I'm really surprised they've come out of that in an advantageous position, but Breno, over-aggressive, caught off guard. We're in a 3 versus 3, and Hype, I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to B here, because that's exclusively where they found their success in regulation, but instead, they're all going to group in the middle.
I would have liked them to accelerate into A Hype after getting that kill.
Sure, yeah.
But instead, they kind of slow the pace down. They give MIBR a chance to breathe. They're going to contact into middle here, and this is where Insani has done so much good work. They're going to boost up. The swing is there, but Insani can't complete a kill. Exit, though. He'll find himself a quick triple. MIBR still don't let Hype rock the boat. They stabilize at 14.
It's like you have the knowledge that 2 players would be. You're in a 3 versus 3. Just take the space, right? Like, you need to be way more proactive with that if you are Hype. And ironically, even though Insani is the one man you'd expect to frag out in the middle there, it's Exit. He cleans up all the dishes, and it's our favorite. It's a match pause. Oh, thanks to the Lord, it's quick. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't mind Paladin just a B play. Just go B. They haven't gone fast really ever. Maybe they go fast B or fast A. Just change the pace. That would really catch MIB off guard. And they found all success towards B, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's just where they go.
It's viable for sure. It's where they've really pressured drop, right? So maybe that's the option, but they're going to go for a mid-swing, and sure, Vinna does some good work, but Insani on that spray control, so massive, get that double. It cuts off an insanely important pincer maneuver for Hype. And now Breno, he's got himself another one teed up. Rainy trying to get fancy through the smoke. And why wouldn't you? I mean, you're in this man disadvantage. It's a tough situation for the T side. They don't want to get swept here in the first half. History, he's going to try to pull one more back, but here is Breno, trained in on that angle. It's all up to Malby. He's been a huge relief as far as B entries go, but with all of his teammates fallen, this round is a complete non-starter. Finds one, brings it down to a 1v3, I guess, but still, the bomb is so far away, and Insani, he'll find himself a triple at the end of it all. 15 rounds for MIBR. They just needed overtime to get woken up, really.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how as soon as they go into overtime, they become near flawless. And there was a couple missed flashes in that round, but all things said, MIBR, 3 opportunities to end this off. 3 map points, series points, I guess. And they'll be going 2-0 up here against Hype, which would be the expected result. However, on paper, it's been a lot more hard fought than anyone could have imagined. It was dead even on both halves in regulation. It doesn't bode well for Hype.
No, not at all. We'll see if they can make that run back. It'll be a grueling one, but they've done some crazier comebacks before. And this is where MIBR struggled. They're just trying to find these T rounds. Insani tasked with holding in the middle. Looked at his minimap, I'm assuming, with how labored that kill was, but he gets it nonetheless. There's still one more CT lying in wait, though. And I feel as though Insani is aware of that possibility. Will still key in to throw in that utility. Might get jumped upon if he's not careful. Meanwhile, MIBR still keen on taking ramp space. Drop has gotten all the way up through the tarp position. He spots out ahead, surely you'd think. But Rainy still finds him at the end of it. Don't know how Drop doesn't spot him. Maybe 4-3 there.
History still in middle. And that forced Insani off. That was a really scary interaction. I thought Insani was actually going to get caught, lacking, but instead, he's going to get away. 4 versus 3. That was a nice entry towards A from Burdens. And now Rainy. looking to see if he can change the luck of his squad. Tucked deep in gap. If overlooked, could be dastardly. And there's the first frag. Gets away with his life. 20 seconds left. Confirmation it's going to be a play towards the A-bomb site. Rotations flooding in. Great counter utility from the CT side. And they are just going to fight. And MIBR will just not be put down. 8 seconds. The Glock. Oh, safe. Almost gets the 1 versus 3 to give MIBR Vertigo. But Rainy says we continue.
Oh my goodness. Tight stuff there. And of course, you know, the economy doesn't matter at this point for both sides, so even that damage doesn't really matter. But man, was it close for MIBR just closing. But they've still got 2 chances. There's still a couple opportunities to close this out in a single OT. But Hype, they live to fight another day. And that really is the motto of this team so far in this series. Just hanging on by a thread and trying to get that knockout blow.
Majority congregated towards a ramp. Drop fully blind. Gets the opening kill. Rainy. This is very aggressive. There was a flashbang coming, but he accelerates a little bit too early. Insani lurking in middle, similar to the last round. Oh, Paladin. This could be Insani's round. If he can catch off the rotations, and he does. MIBR falls. The hero of the last round for Hype shall be no more. History finally does garner some revenge. They're terrified. It could be a play towards B. You can see how Vinner was just kind of checking behind. You know, 3 versus 2. Now post plant. MIBR. Surely this is where they succeed.
Oh, and Safe's got into spawn. He's got into a prime position. Vinna falls. It's all onto history. And this 1v3 would be one for the ages, that's for sure. He's going to have to take out Safe first, and he can't clear that first test. It was a labored, grueling best of 1 series, and even on Vertigo, not an easy task. But MIBR get it over the line, 16-13. They get that 2-0. They climb up the standings here, but man, oh man, a lot of talks need to come through for this side, because I don't think they are RMR ready just yet.
Far from it, man. Like, they're struggling against regional counterparts. That is a really, really worrying side. But for now, Hype, they are history. They will probably be actually very struggling now in this bracket. They could be in a very difficult position with actually keeping their spot. But our Kadir player to watch, we couldn't be more on the money. I think that's not his statistics, I feel like. I think he was 30. He exceeded 30 frags, I feel like.
Yeah, he definitely had a little bit more.
Definitely had a little bit more. But it was fantastic. Paladin, you've got somewhere to be. You need to go head over to North America. It's been a pleasure actually finally being on a cast with you, not just on a desk or whatnot. And for everyone, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. It was a very entertaining match, that's for sure. And we will see you next time.